Rebirth of Souls recently had a patch update last month, and we've given it a few weeks to see how things are going, and they're not going well. The big question right now is Bleach Rebirth of Souls killing its own fan base? Hear me out. Bleach Rebirth of Souls, if you don't already know, is a fighting game for the IP Bleach. Now, one of the big things is that recently they added ranked, and it actually might be backfiring that they added ranked, one, so late, and two, so poorly designed. Let's break this down. Number one, we have a bunch of issues that we still had. Now, one thing to address is they already fixed a bunch of things that we had complaints about. And, you know, credit where credit is due. Yes, I'm glad that they fixed these things. But let's be absolutely real. These things could have been fixed had we not been the beta testers for them. The reality is there's still quite a few bugs that have been in the game since launch that have still not been fixed. And that's one of the biggest problems. We still have key cone moves that are not firing off properly and actually missing, which can actually cause you to lose the game. We have spiritual pressure technique moves that are not working, are spending the energy that you cultivated during the battle and are not actually giving you the results that you're intended to have. Unacceptable. Unacceptable, Bandai. This needs to be fixed. This is supposed to be an emergency patch when you see things like this. Not a, I'm gonna wait 3 months to the next DLC release because I don't have the time. This is our money that you're playing with. This is our time that we've invested that you are playing with, Bandai. And I don't appreciate it. I don't believe any other gamers do either. Now, in addition to that, we have the ranked system, which talks about an etiquette program and system that we don't really know too much about. They talk about how there's going to be a rank reset. They talk about how you will lose points if you disconnect, and eventually that you will be banned. And while some have speculated without having an official notice that they've been banned, we haven't really seen that across the board. And also we're seeing rage quitters all around the motherfucking rank system, up in the damn leaderboards when they should be down in hell. Like, there's no reason if we see you as a rage quitter that I should be seeing you in the top 100. There's no fucking reason. I'm so sorry, because I'm not gonna go into a rank system when I know that half my battles are going to disconnect, and then the other half are gonna play some cheesy ass fucking shit. And then we have players that play Stark, that can go into a 6 Kompaku damage without even going into sublimation. That they're playing their own game within the game. And while every character has a gimmick like that where you'll be playing your own sort of game and your own tactics, yes, we get that. But the issue here is that there are certain advantages to playing certain characters who also may also be a lot easier to play. So therefore, you're playing an easy character, you're also doing more damage, you're also playing a game that we can't play, and where you can now damage them like this, and where we have to go through the normal protocols of the game. That's not a good game system. I'm fucking sorry. Now, they had great ideas. I love the rock, paper, scissors element of this game, but where they fucked up was the health system, in my opinion. I do not think this health system is healthy for the game, and if anything, it's actually backfiring on the game. The big two things are these balancing and bugs and the rank system. And if these things are not fixed, I fear that Bleach might be at its end already. One thing I think that they should do is implement what JJK Curse Clash did. Now, don't give me that bullshit about the game. The game was fucking fire. But here's what you may have not known. One of the things that they added after a few updates was a penalty system. And in that, what they did is that they stopped you from playing for about 5 minutes for the first penalty. Second penalty, 10 minutes. Or it could have been 15, something of that nature. What I'm getting at is that make it a time-based penalty. Very similar to Rivals, where you're locked out for a certain amount of time. You can't play, maybe you can play room match, but you can't play free match, and you can't play, you know, ranked. That will make it so where you will not be disconnecting frequently, because then you can't actually get back into the system. That is a good punishment. You can keep banning them out of the mode without having to do something too complex. I feel that that would be a much better system than what we have currently, where they'll lose a few points, but they'll get it right back if they get the next win. Additionally, it has no benefit for the player who's playing honestly to stay in a game where half their matches are going to disconnect. I've had matches where I have had a bug happen. The other player will take advantage of that bug. They will then destroy my Kompaku. How am I as a player supposed to be okay with them taking advantage of a bug in ranked, mind you, and I have to sit there and struggle and suffer to make sure I still win, because if not, I'm gonna fucking rage and crash out. I can't do this. I can't spend the little time that I have on a game and be frustrated and mad. That's not what I want from a game. And that's not what I expected from Bleach Rebirth of Souls. And mind you, when we were advertised this game by IGN and by the producers of Bleach Rebirth of Souls, they raved at the very beginning when this game was announced. I don't know if a lot of you guys remember, but I went back and looked. They talked about how this game was supposed to be a balanced fighting game that's going to stand out, different from the crowd, and that we should be very excited. Well, I was fucking excited. Go back and check my videos. And I was thrilled. And what did you do? You released it too early in a state that was not deliverable. And people righteously, rightfully said no. Now, don't just take my word for it. The community is speaking, right? We've had players in my own Discord that are saying, yo, I might be done with ranked. And I can't fault them. Literally, like, I can't fault them. I get it. I get it. We have, players that are at the top that have competed in multiple tournaments, like Mike Hollow, who is exceptional, also is done with the game. He's gotten as far as he can. There are people that are being crummy that are hacking the leaderboard just to stay on the top. It's just like, there are people that are consistently rage quitting like crazy. It's insanity to me that this is something that is allowed in a game that we're supposed to enjoy. They have a responsibility to ensure that we have a healthy game environment. Because if not, what am I spending my money on? On a game that was half finished, that was ill-advised, and that was frankly buggy as shit. What exactly am I paying for? For you to test run something? For you to beta test through my money that I fucking earned? I want them to earn my damn $60. Actually, mind you, I paid $100 for this, and I'm sure you did too. So we have every right to be outraged that 4 months in, we still don't have proper fixes to some of the bugs that have been here since launch. They don't have to wait until a DLC to do this patch. They just are not being pushed to it. They're just not being forced into it because we aren't being loud enough, I think. But you know what's very loud? That little drop in the bucket when they don't hear my fucking coin drop in it. This will be the last time I pre-order from Bandai. Unless I see something change. I hope that maybe they get it right in the sequel. I think this game is successful enough that it might warrant a sequel. And as something that Avatar Yaya said, rarely do anime games get it right the first time. And I agree with that statement. If we look at One's Justice, for example, with the My Hero game, no one liked the first game. It was very unpopular. They fixed a lot of things in the second one, but it really became hot. Now on the third one is like, hey, it's gonna be gas. The second one was fucking gas. I loved it. But just thinking about that, Storm 1. I remember when that game came out, I was like in 5th grade. I played that shit all fucking night. I remember it was like just straight 12 hours. Like, I went to bed, my parents were asleep. I had to act like I was under the covers. Meanwhile, I was playing. Like, it was fun for the generation I was in. But rarely do they get everything right that you want in the game. And that's not to excuse them, but I just mean that, instead of getting our hopes up with, oh, we should have crossplay. Crossplay is not the reason this game died. Crossplay is not the reason this game was not successful. It was because they did not implement the proper strategy and saying, hey, you know what? Let's let this game cook. And then Impact, they took notes and said, you know what? We're gonna let this cook. It's not as good as we would hope it is, but at least it's better than the state that they thought they were gonna release it in last year, and they didn't do that. All I'm saying, Bandai, is that you should take some notes. But to my viewers, my saints, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what you think, and let Bandai know what you think about the game and its, conditions and where it's at. Do you like where things are at? Tell me the good and the bad. We want to talk about all of it. We want to be transparent. We don't want to just say the game is bad. We want to talk about what we don't like and what could be fixed, what we want to stay in the game, because there's a few things that they kept that we're like, oh, okay. But anyways, I digress. This has been your boy Saint. Thank you guys always for watching. Appreciate you guys so much, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.